Book presentation of The Trouble with Nigeria, A Paradoxical Treatise and Every Youth Companion by Dr. Nnamchi Cyril Obina. On Wednesday, the 8th of April 2026, scholars, traditional rulers, political leaders, youth advocates, and students gathered at the International Conference Center, Enugu, for the presentation of two thought-provoking books written by Dr. Nnamchi Cyril Obina. The books, The Trouble with Nigeria, A Paradoxical Treatise, and Every Youth Companion, brought together minds committed to national rebirth, youth empowerment, and constructive dialogue. Among dignitaries in attendance were Barrister Chijioke Edoga, Enugu State governorship candidate of the Labour Party at the 2023 general elections, Chief Uchenna Cyril Anyoke, member of the Executive Committee of International Publishers Association based in Geneva, and MD Asana Publishers Nigeria Limited, Professor Emeka Obuabo, Ambassador Dubem Ugwese, Speaker, Youth Assembly, Honorable Barrister Obiora Chibuzo Obago, the Chairman of Isuzo Local Government Area, Honorable Christian Ugochukwu, Comrade Thank God Ogenyi, President Isuzo Youth Congress, Honorable Princess Ugu, Deputy Whip, Enugu State House of Assembly, Comrade Nwafo Gideon Onyedikachi, President Nkanu Youth Organization, Honorable Stephen Ugu, SA to the Chairman on Youth and Student Matters, Peter Aninze, President Anglican Youth Fellowship, Alhaji Sani Friday Naji, Honorable Dr. Amaka Ugweze, Barrister Sir Nnamchi Ephraim, CEO, Lumen Dio Royalties Limited, representatives of the Enugu State Universal Basic Education Board, and representative of the Post-Primary School Management Board, Secretary to the Local Government, representative of Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Deputy Mayors of Nkanu West and Enugu North Local Government Areas, Dr. Nnaji Robinson, Honorable Sunday Ede, FCA, Honorable Chuks Ugoke, Ambassador Dr. Ugu Yuzebus, Honorable Onyama Ede, representative of Honorable Eze Gabriel, Member Enugu State House of Assembly, Honorable Odo Azubike, representative of Professor Sam Ugu, Commissioner for Environment, representative of Honorable Ejike Eze, Federal Commissioner, National Population Commission, representative of Prince Nnemeka Ugu, CEO, Nemel Pharmaceuticals, and students from various higher institutions of learning across the Southeast. The traditional institutions were also well represented by Engineer Oke Obodo, Chairman of the Traditional Rulers Council of Isuzo Local Government Area, and His Royal Majesty Igwe Pius Kachi Nnamani. The event commenced on a solemn and patriotic note with the national anthem, followed by an opening prayer led by Reverend Ibuechi Chris. The symbolic breaking of the kola nut was performed by His Royal Highness Engineer Oke Obodo, invoking blessings and peace upon the gathering.
We are not only here for book launch, we are celebrating the author and also celebrating ourselves here. So now all the baremo, many Malaysia no bush. As you know that Brano, you don't really or you was out. Bora Elilo, you may be out of the book, but you Bora Elilo, you was Bora Elilo, was you. So, in Homa, the other, the individual over. Omotoronde Ekupo on a pipeline. Oburu na show here for my dear, made me launch. So I must say once again congratulations to Honorable Dr. Cyril Nnamchi, the author and the publisher. Now has used us right for a while.
The occasion was chaired by Ozo Emmanuel Namani, chairman of the Enugu State Internal Revenue Service, who, in his opening remarks, charged the youth to embrace self-discovery, refine their talents, find purpose in life, and pursue it with determination.
This launch of a book is not just a launch of a book. It is a time we have dedicated to let our youth. I don't care about the numbers. I'm not a fan of too much numbers, but I'm a fan of impactful movements. If we have just 10 youth here who can understand what we are saying here, who can imbibe the culture of defining and finding their purpose in life and pursuing it, if 10 of them here make that move and become a reasonable person, they will influence another 10 each. That becomes 100. Those 100 will also influence other 10. That is how we spread. All of us mustn't gather here and either make noise or scramble for food or water or drinks, and at the end we will not achieve the purpose.
The host and author, Dr. Nnamchi Cyril Obina, in his keynote speech explained that he chose to confront the status quo and open a new chapter in Nigeria's socio-political discourse through the written word. He emphasized the need for courage, truth, and citizen participation in nation building.
No leader does anything wrong and get away with it without the collaboration of the follower. Without our collaboration, it cannot happen. I did not write this book or pointing out all these issues to just bog our mind and we leave. I wrote this to offer a playbook for transformation. That is why I proposed in the book what I captioned the red card approach. When a referee, just as a referee moves a player who violates the spirit of the game, that is what is done to that player. The referee gives red card because he has violated the rules of the game. We have to begin to sanction people who are not doing well and encourage those who are doing well. The Nigerian citizenry must learn to use the tools of democracy. We need to use the tool of active engagement. We need to use the tool of sustained accountability. We need to use the tool of constructive criticism to send bad messages to off the field. When I say constructive criticism, what is obtainable in our society today is insults. Some of the insults are not even constructive. We don't know how to criticize leaders constructively. What we do is insulting our leaders with banters. Even in social media, with this social media, we continue to insult. And Bible is not faulty by saying and prescribing that we should be praying for our leaders. We should obey those in authority. Because those people that are in authority, they have God's backing, they have legal backing. Because I understand and I know that the same Bible says that power belongs to God. If power belongs to God, He gives it to whomever He wants to give it. So once anybody emerges, it is not by sending bankers, talking to them and crucifying them. That is not the problem. The more you pray for them to die, the more they live because they have another spirit that is backing them. So it is not a normal thing to continue to pray for your leaders to die. What you should be doing is to pray for God to change their mind and make them do that thing God wants them to do, to achieve.
The books were reviewed by Professor F.C. Asogwa, ably represented by Professor Dilichukwu Omemma. He began with Every Youth Companion, describing it as a timely work that highlights the enormous potential of the Nigerian youth. He noted that young people must no longer be seen as liabilities, but as valuable assets capable of transforming society.
In chapter 4, captioned Value Creation, the author shifts the discourse toward productivity and relevance. Here, he challenges young people to move beyond dependency and consumption toward creativity and useful contribution to the advancement, progress, and well-being of the society. This chapter is particularly impactful in its insistence that true fulfillment comes from creating value for society.
Turning to the trouble with Nigeria, a paradoxical treatise, the reviewer described the book as more than an academic exercise. He called it a rallying cry for citizens to take responsibility for the nation's destiny.
The trouble with Nigeria, a paradoxical treatise, stands out as a courageous and intellectually stimulating intervention to challenge conventional wisdom and provoke deeper reflection. The author deserves commendation for daring to interrogate and indeed modify the long-standing orthodox popularized by Achebe that Nigeria's problem is simply and squarely a failure of leadership. So, by shifting the spotlight to scholarship, Cyril opens up new pathways for understanding and addressing the Nigerian condition. In conclusion, the book is considered a must-read for scholars, policymakers, students, and all concerned citizens about the future of Nigeria. It is both a diagnostic and a prescriptive text, one that not only identifies the problem, but also offers actionable pathways for reform. Nnamchi Unveils has made a significant contribution to the literature on governance, and his work therefore deserves wide readership, critical engagement, and serious consideration in policy and academic circles. Thank you for your attention.
The occasion was further enriched by a captivating spoken word performance by Chris Ilochi and his group, whose presentation stirred reflection and inspiration among the audience. A major highlight of the event was the official unveiling of the two books, led by the chairman of the occasion, Ozo Emmanuel Ekene Namani, with applause filling the hall. The books were formally launched, marking the beginning of their journey into public discourse. In a generous gesture, the host distributed complimentary copies of both books to every student present, reaffirming his commitment to youth enlightenment and education. In the closing remarks, the First Lady of Isuzo local government area, Mrs. Onyinye Obago, delivered a vote of thanks on behalf of her husband, the executive chairman of the local government area, Honorable Barrister Obiora Chibuzo Obago. She appreciated all guests for honoring the invitation and supporting the intellectual gathering. She also gave a cash reward of 20,000 naira to the first student who registered at the event. The event was anchored by Von Wadukwe of Radio Nigeria. The event came to a peaceful close with a closing prayer. The gathering was more than a book presentation. It was a celebration of ideas, leadership, youth potential, and collective responsibility. And as the audience departed, one message remained clear in the minds of everyone who came. Words can inspire change. Ideas can shape the future of a nation. The event was streamed live on Freedom Square TV in Enugu. I am Lillian Ezinwa, reporting for Freedom Square TV.